Hey, how you doing? What I wanted to talk to you about today is this realization that I came to about dealing with stress and anxiety and worries. I've read a lot of books, I've watched a lot of videos, but there's one book, I guess it was a simplification of it that just hit me so strong, and he was talking about children. And he talked about how when you're a child, let's say you're being abused, you get hit, you get yelled at, whatever it is, the scenario, any kind of form of abuse. Even if you can't analyze it, you understand it. And then I took that point and I took a step back. I was like, wait a minute. Are you telling me that the problem with humans, with adults, really is the way he likes to put it, a good way to put it, because there's a lot of talk, he talks about a lot how children are just these ultimate free beings, there's so much we can learn from an undomesticated human. But then it just made me realize, that's the word I was looking for, that's what I'm doing. What causes me so much stress and worry and anxiety? What is anxiety? It's over analyzing things. And I realized you still can understand things without analyzing them, and it's our mind that tries to get in the way and is like, oh, this happened, or this is going to happen. Like, let's make a plan about how we're gonna go about it. Let's do this. Let's do this, or this was good, this was bad. Anything of that sort, where you're just having these thoughts, and even if these thoughts are positive, even if it's like, oh, this is all good. See, the problem is, then you're still stuck in this mindset that you're thinking, that you're trying to do too much. Your mind is too active, and that's what we're trying to decrease. If you want to calm down, you want to get rid of stress, you want to be worry-free, it's all anxiety-free, it's all the same thing. It all happens here. And what you want to do is not be like a slave to the mind. And I felt like I've had like an enlightening and awakening recently, like after everything I read, but I realized that is really exactly what I'm doing. When I'm at work, what makes the work stressful is not, I could just sit there and I could do things one step at a time, as they call being in the moment, or I could be thinking all these completely unnecessary things, and it's just like, oh, the boss is here, and then I'm like, oh, I feel it in myself, like I feel, oh, this is making me anxious, this is making me worry. That awareness is a real good key. If you could bring awareness to things and you can just accept it for what it is, then you can learn to let go. You don't want to fight it, you don't want to resist it. This is all about accepting the unknown. Don't try to overanalyze things, because your mind can still understand. He says in his book that when the child is hit, it's really like, if you analyze this in a weird way, when the child is hit, he understands something. He can't analyze it like an adult. He doesn't have all these thought processes, all these stress and worries, but he understands that maybe he did something wrong, or maybe he didn't do anything wrong, but he understands that he's being hit, he's being abused, he's being mistreated. There's some level of understanding without the intellectual analyzation that comes when you're an adult. See, then when you're an adult, when something happens, you're always trying to overanalyze. You're trying to overthink it. I'm trying to do it. That's how I'm only here to speak of this, because I noticed myself doing it, and it's just like every little thing was making me so anxious. Like now, I'm talking about this because the realizations I had now. I had today, where I finally managed to calm down a little bit. I took some time away from being on the internet too much. Even though I go on the internet, that's where I love to study, I love to learn. I've learned so much information from so many good people, but I decided my brain needed that break. So I've been sort of somewhat free of the internet as much as I can for the last 3 days. I kept it a lot more limited, and when I do go on, I do keep it focused. So like, how am I getting value out of this? Am I just watching this for entertainment? Because I'm at the point where I feel like just pure entertainment is a waste of time. That's aside from having fun. I mean, like mindless stimulation that's just made to keep you busy, versus when you go out with your friends to the beach. That's a completely different situation. That I feel like there's great value to it. We are beings of we're sociality, socialness, social whatevers. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. And something else I wanted to add to this about getting rid of stress, dealing with anxiety. Now, there are a huge reason that we have so much we don't even notice it. I only noticed it because I stepped out of it. but I knew there was something going on in my head that I couldn't break free until that next level. I couldn't let go. I call it in my own mind window awareness, where it's almost like you have that sense of awareness, but you don't know how to break through to the next level. And I had a breakthrough today. Sorry if I look angry, it's just the sun in my eyes. And I had a breakthrough today, and then because I wasn't so anxious, I noticed when I got anxious, I was like, oh, this is making me nervous, and then this is making me anxious, or this is giving me too many thoughts. And that was because I was able to notice it from the outside. I was able to just let it go. Now what happens though when you're in a situation that you don't want to be in? Because a lot of anxiety, if you really pay attention to, is you trying to escape the moment. Like you have some kind of worry, you have some kind of fear, and then you go in your mind unconsciously, and you try to play in your thoughts and change the scenario before the situation even happened. A lot of the way we live, Don Miguel Ruiz, his people, they call it like dreaming. The main purpose of the mind is to dream. When you're walking around and all you can do is think, and you can't really break the pattern of thinking, it is like you're in a dream, because you're physically here, I'm physically here, but my mind, if I'm like, oh, what do I got to do at work? Oh, what if my boss sees me coming in late? You know, whatever thought you're having, those are just examples for me. Whatever thought you're having, you're projecting yourself in a situation that isn't real. Instead of just dealing with things moment by moment as the situations arise. And not to say there isn't a time and place for thinking, for planning, but you got to understand that if you just attack everything like that, you won't be able to break free from it. You have to kind of let go of all of it. I'll say that again, try to make more of an impact on that. You have to kind of let go of all of it. Because like even when you're planning something that's really, really good, is really, really positive, you know, it's going to help you move forward. This is what you need to do. Or, you know, there are thoughts that make you happy. There are thoughts that make you feel good. They're really positive thoughts. If you hold on too much of those, you're locking your mind in a state of just being constantly active and being overactive, really. And then when the negative thoughts, when the bad thoughts come up, or when you just get too tired from thinking so much because your brain uses up energy, you won't be able to let go. You won't be able to shut down. That was my problem, that I was kind of just like stuck in this like overactive brain mode. And like was it last night? Yeah, I think it was last night. I couldn't even sleep well. I think part of it had to do with me trying to break through, but I woke up at least like 6 times, and it was because in my mind I had other things I was doing. I had my computer going because all night, all day, I'm trying to process videos so I could get them uploaded as quick as possible. So it's like I know I had an alarm set for 2.5 hours, wake me up, so that I could reset the video. That was the only thing I needed, just to wake up that one time, then I could go back to sleep. Well, what happens? I wake up literally like once an hour because my brain gets stuck and being activated, and I never really let go. This is why a lot of people even have trouble sleeping. Try to really make a big point out of this, is that when you don't let go, when it's time to let go, that you can't let go. I would like to address now at this point how to deal with moments in time that you feel like you can't deal with, really. I'll just put it like that. I'll just jump into it. The way I like to look at it, like they call it, like in Buddhist culture, there's plenty of other people that call it most engaged, least attached to outcome. But I changed the words, and it resonated with me more. What I did in my mind, first I changed least attached to outcome to the person who cares the least. Sounds weird, but just hear me out. And I changed most engaged to most focused. Now this is how I found really just helps you break through, get through like the hardest obstacles in your life, or even just get through your day-to-day and try to break free out of this anxiety. Because I've noticed even when I'm meditating, I'm trying to meditate, I'm still almost in a sense, I'm trying to focus on something, and I haven't practiced any focus, so I have no ability to focus because I'm not even focusing on my other tasks. Like I'll be driving my car listening to something, I'll be at work listening to something, you know, then I'm always looking for that next thing to do. So what I gotta learn to do, what I'm working on now, is just really focusing on whatever it is I'm doing, one thing at a time, and not letting myself break off into multitasking. Like for example, when I'm at work, I used to help several customers at once, but now I was like, nope, I'm focusing on this customer. You're gonna have to wait your turn, because when I break my mind like that, it's almost like I'm splitting off into two parts, and I got one part of me focused here, one part of me focused there, and then I can't give my best effort to either one, and I'm getting stressed out. So what I gotta do, and I feel like I really recommend trying this, is just focus on one thing at a time. Give it your all, focus on it 100%, and don't worry about the outcome. That's the other important thing, because when you're having troubles with not being where you want to be, you're getting stressed out, you want to go home, that's caring too much in a sense. That's being outcome dependent. You're creating scenarios in your mind of places you'd rather be. So it's kind of like focus 100% of where you are and just accept everything as it is for what it is, especially what you cannot change. And you can focus on what you can't change, but one thing at a time. We're kind of limited creatures. Like people, there's a Buddhist saying that goes, the man that tries to catch 2 rabbits catch none. You know, they say that when as a human, there's really only so many things you can learn at once. There's so many things you can focus on at once. I believe they say the number's 3. You know, if you're a girl watching this, I feel like girls can multitask better. So maybe you feel like you can do more things at once. But I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not possible whatsoever. I'm a multitasker. I've lived my life multitasking. I'm always, what else can I be doing? What else can I be doing? Right now, I have videos, as I'm shooting these videos out here in this park, most of the time my computer's at home still running, processing things. But it's like I focus on that as I'm there now, and now I'm here and I focus on this. I'm really trying to explain this idea. I found it really just the only way that likes makes sense. It is not really about the idea, it's about the state of mind that you're in, and breaking out of this like foggy, cloudy, you know, just full of anxiety, always stressed out, always anxious, that you don't even notice feeling. And the only way I found to break out of it is to just break out of it altogether, to let go of the multitasking, focus on things one at a time. Even if you have a problem, you don't worry about the next 10 steps. You're gonna burn yourself out. You take it one step at a time and try as hard as you can to just not care whatsoever. They call it least attached from outcome. I'm just gonna call it don't care. It's kind of a paradox, because in one sense you want to be as focused, as like hard on, as spot on, doing the best you can, but don't worry about the outcome. Why? Because you're thinking, when you, as I said, oh God, no, I'm here worried about the outcome. Then I got in my head, and then the video gets a little funny, but I need to just focus on this. But I can't be here worried about, is the video gonna come out good? What's going on in my job? Am I missing a sale because I'm standing here? If I let myself go there, you know, any other thought besides what you focus on now, you're not going to be able to do the best here. So if you have a problem, you're not going to be able to bring your best ability to solve it. If you're even trying to enjoy your life, you're at a fun situation, you're not going to be able to focus on it. Focus is like a muscle you got to practice, and I let go of a lot of things just like literally today and yesterday, because I noticed my attention and my mind was just splitting up, and I was going crazy and I was freaking out, and I really saw it so clearly at work, because I didn't work for 2 days, and then I went and I was, you know, my coworker was like, you know, my first thought was like, oh, I'm late. Is someone gonna notice anything? Oh, I feel myself getting anxious. Then, you know, I come in and my coworker's here like, oh, the big boss is here. Like, oh, I feel myself getting anxious. And then I'm dealing with customers and they're really anxious and their energy is running over me. They're like, I feel myself getting anxious. But what I didn't notice is this is a realization I had today, because I broke through to another level, another state of mind where I was free of all that anxiousness and all that anxiety for a moment. So when I actually was in the situation where it was coming at me, I realized I didn't notice it before, because I was just always in that anxious energy all day. Your mind, if you get stuck in there, your mind doesn't want to leave. It doesn't want to let you go. And you got to find the way to break through to this other side, to get out of your stress, get out of your worries, get out of your anxiety, get out of your head, get out of your own way. I offer what I can. I'll try to wrap up. Realize when you're analyzing things, just anything whatsoever, like you see the tree over there and then you're like, oh, it's made out of wood, the leaves are green, just anything whatsoever. Realize when your mind is analyzing things, and try to stop it from analyzing things. As hard, as ridiculous as that may sound, try to stop your mind from analyzing things, because analyzation, honestly, from what my experience, from just what I've seen, is just a real good way to describe to just a path to anxiety. It starts off with, as an adult, you want to overanalyze things, and don't believe your thoughts. They're lying to you. They want to tell you, oh, this is so important. That's really such a hard one to get over. That is such a hard one to get over, because all your thoughts are telling you they're all so important, and you're gonna keep telling yourself that, no, I have to think this out. No, I have to figure this out. No, I have to plan this. But it's like I tell my son, if you don't pick one thing, if you don't pick anything to let go of, then when you need to let go, you're not going to. You're just gonna be locked in that state of mind, and you're gonna handle everything in your life like that, and you don't need to. You could come back to just being as focused on you as you are on the task at hand, but caring the least about the outcome, so you can just do it and let it go. Then do it and let it go. Do it and let it go, and do it and let it go. The letting go is so important. If you can't let go, then you're gonna be stuck in this place, because it's all about letting go. Being okay with not knowing. Being okay, trusting in yourself, trusting in your body, just trust in yourself that whatever happens, you're gonna be able to figure it out. Lots of times we make all these plans for things that never even happen, and even if they are actually gonna happen, I had a friend, right? He works on characters and storylines, right? So you can write it down, and then you gotta let it go though. Like, he'll write it down, and then he'll just jump to the next thought. And even if he deals with that, he'll just jump to the next thought. Then he jumps to the next thought. He jumps to the next thought. And there needs to be a point where you just practice letting go. That's what meditation is about. Even if you don't want to try it, it's just the idea that you're trying to practice and train your mind to let go of thinking, to stop thinking so much. And if you can master this, if you could become this, if you can do this to any sense of the word, shape or form, it's going to slowly but surely, radically change your life, change how you feel, change everything about you. They even say that meditation makes you actually physically younger. They've tested this. They had a lady who I believe was 30 years old, and then she had like the body of, they say, like a 32-year-old, and then when she was 35, they tested her again, and she was like a 27-year-old. They're not the exact numbers, but they showed that physically, when they tested her to see what age she was health-wise, after meditating for 5 years, she became physically younger. As weird as that sounds, it does not take any time. It gives you time. It gives you your life. It gives you enjoyment. It gives you fulfillment. And once you come from this place, don't worry about your problems, because do not worry about your problems, because if you're attacking them from this place, you're going to be able to handle them better. You're going to go out there and you're going to give it your best. See, I'm attacking this video right now for my best. My last couple of videos were a little short because I couldn't focus. I couldn't get on point. I couldn't do the work, but I've been practicing and I've been training. I've been making myself focus, and now I'm here and I'm able to just give it all. I'm giving it all to you, and I hope you guys learn something from this. Take all the points, take whatever point stood out to you, hold on to it. It's not going to make sense to you right now. You're not going to get the sudden grand realizations. All of my biggest realizations, they come to me when I have a thought and I don't quite understand it, and I hold on to it and I hold on to it and I think about it. That sounds like anxiety, but it's not like I think about it 100 times. It's like every day I think about it, or I find the situations where like, does this apply to it? How do I apply this to it? What does this mean? What is there for me to learn? How am I going to further understand this point? And then you'll get that grand realization where you'll see the light, you'll see the other side, and you'll understand what I'm trying to mean, that there's a different way to live your life. There's a different state of mind. You don't have to be always anxious and anxiety mode. And if you don't think you're always anxious and anxiety mode, then you probably are. Because unless you know that you're not that, and most people, they think they're not that, but I mean, the only one who can really say they're not that is someone like Eckhart Tolle. I'm not Eckhart Tolle. If you're Eckhart Tolle, thanks for watching. Whoever you are, thanks for watching. I'm always putting out good videos like this. Feel free to like and subscribe. Have a nice day.